ready with me to go to school. I have class today at 5:30 and it is currently 2:30, so I think I have enough time to kind of get ready. I'm literally going to use concealer as like my foundation base, just because I always go in with my L'Oreal foundation, but I barely have any, and I also don't feel like wearing foundation because I feel like it's like, you know, I was like, why not get ready and do like a little chit chat and kind of spill some tea with you guys, little girl talk, chisme, whatever you want to call it, life update, whatever. But just gonna sit here, chit chat with you guys, grab a snack, grab a drink, because girl, I already prepped my skin and I also concealed my eyebrows, just because I feel like that always takes the longest. So I always try to do it off camera, that way, you know, when I'm on camera, I'm not like here like trying to do my eyebrows. A lot of people are like, oh my god, you should thin out your eyebrows, make them super thin. I'm like, girl, no. If my vajayjay is bushy, my eyebrows are gonna be bushy. What? Little update about school before we jump into the chisme, just because you guys are always asking me about like school, like how am I doing, and I honestly didn't think you guys were interested in knowing like anything about me going back to school. But I am gonna start trying to film more about like my school journey, just because you guys have a lot of questions over like my school, like what I'm doing. My first term was so interesting though, because like I went in con todas las pilas, because we literally learned insurance and coding. We learned how to fill out patients' insurance forms. And then my second term was blood withdrawals, and now I'm currently in, I don't even know what my term is called, but I'm on my third term of medical assisting. I feel like this term is more stressful. We're doing more essays. It's more work, to be honest, than my last couple terms. I've been super proud of myself though, because my last 2 terms I actually passed my classes with straight A's, which I was so freaking happy, because I currently have a 4.0, which makes me so proud of myself. Medical school just in general is so hard, and it's a lot of work, and like you always have to like memorize a whole bunch of shit. And I honestly thought it was impossible for me to like even get straight A's, knowing that it's gonna be hard. But honestly, I feel like I always doubt myself, and I always end up doing really good in my classes. A lot of guys have been asking me why I didn't go straight into RN, and the reason is because I wanted to step foot in like the medical field and kind of get a feel of what it's gonna be like. And I feel like I will have some type of experience. I do want to work part-time after school and get some like experience behind the medical field, and just kind of learn a little bit more outside of school once I have enough medical experience and I feel comfortable enough to go back to school. And I've even heard a lot of clinics actually pay for your school if you work for them for a while. So that is my goal, because girl, nursing school is not cheap. And a lot of people are like, you should have just gone for RN, pero pues todo su tiempo, chamacas. Honestly, like, I'm in no rush, you know. I really don't mind going back to school, even if it's like until I'm 30 and I'm barely getting my degree in RN. Like, no matter what path I take, I'm gonna be super proud of myself. I graduate my medical assisting program in October, but I do plan on going back to school for a technician. So I'm gonna do everything that has to do with like facials, waxing, Botox, all of that fun stuff. So I do plan on going back to school, not necessarily in the medical field, but I am wanting to go back for aesthetic and stuff like that. So yeah, I do plan of starting another program after I'm done with this one, but I do want to get a job as a medical assistant part-time at a hospital or something, just because, you know, girl, I'm not just doing this program for nothing. Like, I at least want to work somewhere, and I've always been kind of like open to me working. I don't want to be relying on YouTube like my whole life, you know. And you know, it's good to get myself out there. Like, I don't have friends, so maybe working at a clinic or something puts me out there and I make a couple friends and stuff like that. Because gracias a Dios, like, you know, I have not needed a job ever since I started YouTube. Like, it's been my only source of income, but still I'm not trying to be like, you know, relying on it too much, just because you really never know where YouTube could go, to be honest. Like, what if in a couple years, like, YouTube is just not the shit no more? So you can never rely on this type of job, because social media comes and goes. You never know what can happen with social media. And I'm not really doing this just because I'm like, oh my god, like, I need another job besides YouTube. If I wanted to, like, I would be like, you know what, like, I'm just gonna do YouTube y hasta ahí. Pero no, I want to get myself out there. I want to work and I want to get some experience in other type of jobs. And to be honest, I didn't even know I wanted to do this, and I might even change my mind like halfway into my journey. But I was always the type to be like, I'm not going to college, like I hate school, like, you know, blah blah blah. Like I just wanted to get overdone with high school. High school for me, I was just like, that's why I graduated early, because yo según I wasn't gonna go to college. Like I was just trying to be a YouTuber, do my boutique and stuff like that. But I mean, I still want to do that, but I want to balance out my life to the point where I have social media life. I don't mind working, I don't mind getting a degree in something and trying out new things, and I want to, because honestly you never know. Like I said, I don't plan of ever like quitting social media or like, you know, stop doing YouTube videos, but I do want to balance out my life, and I do want to, you know, work a job and still be a full-time YouTuber at the same time as balancing a part-time job. It's just really what I want to do, and it's just that if you want to, you could, pero pues poco a poquito y todo a su tiempo. Even though I've been like a little bit MIA on YouTube, which has been my personal reasons of why, and honestly just because I feel like YouTube is not the same that I used to be, and YouTube has changed a lot to the point where I feel like a lot of people don't enjoy my content just because I'm still trying to do the content that was done back then in a way, you know what I mean? Or like maybe like the way I do my videos, or maybe the way I vlog, or the way that I edit is not as entertaining or as like people do it now. But that's not gonna stop me from making videos, girl, because I still want to make content for you guys. Comment down below video ideas you guys would like to see on my channel, maybe new content, you know, whatever. Guys, just comment down below and I'll go ahead and film those for you guys. I wanted to do a little story time because I think I already said the story time but on live, so I wanted to tell you guys on here just because, you know, it's gonna stay on here and you guys can like, you know, get the details. Story time of the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened to me. Well, girl, a lot of embarrassing things happen to me, but this one like haunts me in my dreams. I don't know why, because honestly at this point like I'm kind of like pues ni modo, pero as much as I'm like it's okay, like he didn't think anything wrong, but every time I see this person in public, I'm just kind of like, he most definitely remembers, because if I remember, he remembers. If you guys didn't watch that one story time, I told you guys about how I was talking to a guy that was married and had a whole baby. I talked to him, I want to say like for 6 months, but that sounds too much. So we talked for a while, girl, and then I ghosted him when I started like, you know, finding out that he had a whole baby mama. Still to this day like regret not informing his wife or whatever, his girlfriend, his baby mama. But honestly, I think she knew. I think she knew. I'm 100% she knew, just because he still does it to her, as what I'm informed. He still talks to a lot of other girls and she's like fully aware of it. Basically, I talked to this guy that, you know, had a whole baby mama. He would only come see me at night, which was the biggest red flag. We talked for around 6 months. Like I said, he will always like give me mixed signals. Like one day he would wake up and he'll be like all lovey-dovey with me, like good morning babe, good morning, and like with kissy face, heart emojis, and he'll be like I missed you, like I want to go see you. He lived half an hour away from my house, and then when I will start being like cortona with him, like meaning like I wouldn't answer him or I'll take forever to reply, he'll be like, let me go see you, I miss you, what's wrong, like are you okay? Every time we went out to public, which we never did because I always stayed in the car, he always told me to stay in his car with his windows up. He had a tinted car. So later into us in the talking stage, he actually got a new car and he did not come visit me until he got his windows tinted. And I remember that I was so tired of him to the point where one day I literally just told him like straight up, I was like, what are we? Because we've been doing this shit for like 6 months now. What are we? I'll be like, are we like sneaky links? Are we just, you know, are we just seeing each other on the low? Like what are we? Like what the fuck are we? And I remember him clearly telling me we weren't sneaky links because we obviously wouldn't like but we was still and he would always be like, well, I don't know, like what do you want us to be? And I was like, bitch. So yeah, that's a little bit about him and what we were kind of like. Mind you, we never did anything. The most we did was kiss, make out. We never even got like touchy, you know. It was just very like PG-13 kind of thing. He was not the type of guy to be like, oh, let's like hasta que me case. So anyways, that was a little bit about us, you know. I'm really putting it out there that, you know, I never really did anything with him, just so you guys can know that to begin with, I was never even comfortable with him like that, to the point for him to know things about me, you know, like seeing my little pretty vajayjay and like my little ojitos, you know, like I was like, no, I was just not comfortable. Like I was a little pussy when it comes to other guys seeing my little limoncitos and stuff like that, my little ojitos. I was like, no one's about to see them but me. Let's put that out there, because then, you know, you guys are gonna think other things. But no, I always like to inform you guys of what my story time is gonna kind of be like. So if you're new to my channel, sorry, I do talk a lot before, you know, telling a story. I like doing like a little personal background check on someone before we start, just so you guys can be informed. There was a point in our like talking stage or whatever that he was like taking me serious. Like I remember even one day he was like, oh, like you're the only girl I see, blah 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 blah, like I drive 30 minutes to just come see you every day, and you think that I don't want something with you. So I was like, girl, I was like, oh, he wants something with me.
Uy, sí, claro.
So then he invites me to this AZ showdown in Phoenix. If you guys watch my previous story time, this is when I found out he, you know, was married, whatever. So we get to Phoenix and we get to our hotel room. He was being like so different with me. He was being like lovey-dovey, like I was like, he's trying to get into my ojito. He's trying to poke my ojito. Like, no.
I'm having a fucking panic attack right now. I need to calm the fuck down.
And I was so tired because I remember the night before, I just didn't sleep. Like, I literally pulled an all-nighter and did not sleep. So when he picked me up early in the morning, like I was like a zombie. Like I had not slept the whole night. So then we got to the hotel. I was super tired. Like I just wanted to like lay down and take a fat nap, but he was hungry. So he was like, let's go get some food and then we'll come back to the hotel room and like take a nap or whatever, because he was super tired as well. So I was like, you know what, like I'll eat as well una vez and then come back and take a nap. So we go to like these taquitos. So then we're eating, everything's good. Mind you, we were like with other friends as well, and our two other friends were sitting in front of us. And I don't know how or why I started like literally cracking up. And I had my drink and I was, you know, le estaba tomando for my drink, and then my friend makes me laugh and I literally just like spit everything out, but literally instead of spit, I threw up. Bitch, I freaking threw up in front of everyone. Like everyone in the like restaurant like just looked at me, because bitch, I threw up all over the place. Like all my food was full of like throw up. And I tried to stop it because it was coming out of my nose. Like it didn't come out from my mouth, my throw up came out from my nose, and I went like this and all my hands were full of throw up. The wall next to me was full of throw up, and it was just the most embarrassing thing ever, because he just turned around and looked at me like, what? I was like, trágame tierra, because bitch, it was the most embarrassing thing ever. And now that I think about it, it was because I didn't sleep the whole night. So like I was like tired and like I was eating too fast, you know. It's just my whole stomach was, you know, all over the place. And then we had drove 2 hours, so obviously like I was just not, I was just not, no. I was literally about to freaking cry, but I knew if I cried I would have made the situation worse, because he would have been like, why the fuck is this bitch crying? And like I said, I think it was more embarrassing just because I wasn't as comfortable with him for me to be like, oh, like I just threw up, you know. He obviously saw that I threw up all over myself. I was just so embarrassed. I was like, why did this have to happen to me? So then after, like, we obviously end up like leaving and, you know, cleaning up the mess that I made. And then in his car, I remember getting on, I had perfume in my purse and I started spraying that everywhere because I smelled like freaking throw up. Me eché un chicle, dude. I didn't even know what to do because I was like, que vergüenza, dude. Like, que pinche vergüenza. I remember him telling me like, you threw up, huh? And I was like, yeah. Creo que me cayó mal la comida. And then he was like, you better take a shower right now, we get to the hotel. But he would tell me like in this like trying to like make it like funny, but I was like, bitch, it's not funny, it's so embarrassing. And the worst thing is that it doesn't even end there. So after that, you know, we go back to the hotel, I take a shower, blah blah blah, we go to the thing, come back. I was good. The next morning I wake up and I like felt like super like wet down there, and I was like, I know he did not just get me wet. because we didn't do shit. Maybe like my hormones are very like girl, get some palo. But I was like, why am I like wet down there? So I remember like waking up and he was like trying to cut it and shit, and I was like, girl, I don't know if I just started my period or if my budushi is getting hyper down there. And if she's getting hyper, I can't control that, because get off of me. But then I remember him telling me like, oh, like I'm craving some ice cream for breakfast, and I was like, okay, like sounds good. And he was like, I'm gonna get some ice cream, I don't know if you want to shower, get ready. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna shower, and I'm gonna get ready for us to leave back to Tucson. So I remember going to the bathroom, and you know, obviously like I'm gonna take off my clothes to shower, duh. And I took off my calzones, and dude, full of blood, not wetness, blood. I would have preferred for my budusi to be wet than bloody.
I was playing.
I didn't bring pads. I didn't have no freaking pad, no tampon. Bitch, I don't know why I didn't think of like packing a, you know, a pad just in case. But no, bitch.
Are you fucking dumb?
No pads, no tampons. And I was like, what am I gonna do? Because the car that we were driving, it had like the lightest seats ever. So I was like, oh, like I know if I just ignore my period and I just put on like my underwear and like leave like that, me voy a manchar toda, and I know that's gonna be more embarrassing. So I was like, either like, do I just put some toilet paper? Do I just leave it, like ignore it and go back home like that? We're gonna be home in 2 hours, I'll be good. Or should I tell him to go buy me pads, or like to like let me use the car to go buy pads or something? So I get out of the shower, I'm getting ready, and I'm like, hey, like, can you lend me your car? And then he was like, for what? Like, what do you need? You need me to go to the store for you? Like, did you forget something? I was just like, no, it's because I just need to go buy some female things. And then he's like, I don't be like that. Like, what do you need? And like, I'll go for you. And I was like, I need pads. He was really sweet about it, he's super cool about it, but because he was like, oh yeah, like what type do you need? Like, do you need me to go now? And I was like, yeah, like now. And he's like, did you just start? And I was like, yeah. He was like, I'll call you, I'll FaceTime you when I'm at the store to like, so you can tell me what pads you need, because I've never bought pads before. So I remember him going to a Walgreens and he FaceTimes me, and then he's like, what's the name of the brand? And I like tell him like, well, it has like a little U. Like I kind of started describing the box, and then he was like, I don't see anything of that. He's like, yeah, like I'm right here where their pads are at. Flips his camera. Tell me why he's in the adult diaper area. Bitch, that was my last straw. That was my 13th reason. I was just like, oh my, I don't know if I should have been more embarrassed than him, but I was like, why did I let this guy go buy me pads? And I'm like, sir, those are adult diapers. And like we both started like laughing, but it was like that little like I remember him being like, oh, well, like, can you tell that I've never bought pads before? And I'm like, yeah, I could tell. I could tell. So then he ends up asking like an employee, like, hey, like, where are your pads? And then you know, he eventually finds the right pads that I needed, gets back to the hotel and gives me my pads. But I was just so embarrassed because he really knew I was on my period. And like, I know there isn't anything to be ashamed of, like, you know, women's body, periods and stuff like that, but mind you, like, I've never even told any guy to ever buy me pads. Neither has a guy known that I'm on my period. Like, I just no. So I was just super embarrassed, and I've always been like that. Like, I always get embarrassed for like literally the smallest things ever, but I was just so freaking embarrassed when this happened. And people always ask me like, what's your most embarrassing story? I always think back to those 2 moments, because those were literally my most embarrassing moments ever. I have so many embarrassing moments. I always embarrass myself. I just cannot contain myself. I get very shy. I'm like just very, but at the end of the day, he was super sweet about it, and you know, he wasn't like, ugh, like, yeah, on your period. Just super funny to me that I didn't even pack or even thought of like packing an emergency pad, which now I always do that, but back then I was just like, So life lesson, always bring a pad even if you're not on your period or close to getting your period, because uno nunca sabe, girl, and you definitely don't want a guy you're not as comfortable with knowing that you just got your period and he having to go buy you pads. Another life lesson, don't pull an all-nighter where you're gonna do a 2-hour trip and then eat right after, because you will throw up all over. So embarrassing. I'm not gonna put like lip liner or anything. I'm gonna put some gloss and some chapstick. I haven't just worn lip gloss in so long. Literally, I think the last time was like middle school. I would always wear lip gloss, and now I'm more like a matte person, you know, lipsticks, matte lipsticks and stuff like that. I am all done with my makeup. I want to go ahead and put some setting spray. I wear the MAC Prep and Prime. This one has been the one that works for me the best. This one has definitely locked in my makeup into place at all times. Like, I literally love it. So now I'm gonna go ahead and change into my school uniform. I'm also gonna do something to my hair. I don't know if I'm gonna braid it or something. I always braid my hair, hence why it's like wavy. I have concealer in my hair. I always braid my hair, and it's a very good thing to do if you want your hair to grow faster and for it to look more healthy, girl. Braid your hair. My nana has been braiding my hair ever since I was a little girl, and it's like literally the best thing she could have ever done, because I think that's why my hair like always was super long and like healthy, porque I just always had it up in a braid. If my nana would do like una colita, she would braid like French braid and then do like cola. No matter what, I always had trenzas. And según, I don't know if it's true, but supposedly if you braid your hair, you don't get piojos. But girl, I still got piojos. Wait, no mames, no tengo uniforme. No mames. Oh my gosh, you said. Girl, I just threw in my uniform into the dryer, so hopefully it dries, because then, girl, I'm gonna be late. I always take my bag to school just because in here I carry like my glasses, my charger, because I don't like carrying too much things in my backpack. And now I actually carry a pad wherever I go, because uno nunca sabe. I literally just took out my uniform from the dryer. They're still a little wet, but who cares? These scrubs are tight. I can't even like twerk. I'm gonna take a jacket because lately the classrooms have been freaking freezing. Perfume. Dude, these are so tight on my butt. My legs, they have like no air right there, and they're so tight. And it's not because they're wet, they're always like this on me, always. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm late to school, so gotta go. I'll go ahead and see you guys on my next video. Bitch, I'm out of breath. Bye.